Welcome to a new video in my home automation series, and yeah, we are reviewing something new again from Sonoff, and this is also very new. It was released at the end of June, which means that I'm really late with this review as well. I got it in time, but I just didn't have the time to do it. I got it in the same time as the PT2 as well. So a new product, and you can see it's a Switchman, and technically it's called the M5, so it's the same line of switch that we have seen before, so physical switches, but you can see it's orange, so we know that this is Zigbee. I would assume the most popular line of smart switches from Sonoff, which is the M5, now has the Zigbee version as well. And to be honest, I could, quickly summarize this review that whatever the Wi-Fi version of the M5 does, this Zigbee version does the same as well. And this is pretty much true how it behaves in the eWeLink application, how it works in the iHost as well. And I've also tested it in Zigbee to MQTT, and in all systems it works fine. It has all the features that you would expect, like you can create schedules and timers, you can create automations to trigger whenever these outputs are getting turned on and off. And also in automations or scenes, you can turn these outputs on and off, channel 1 and channel 2 separately. So everything works, everything is fine. But the only other thing, which I have done the MFU review a very long time ago, but you see this symbol, it says neutral optional. So actually this has the option to use neutral or not. And just you can see some of the other things in on the back. And yeah, I mean, as you can see, it does all the usual things like power on state and everything. But yeah, you do have the option to use the neutral or not. And at the moment, it is actually connected. I'm going to show you just in a sec that the neutral is not connected, and yeah, it still works. I can turn on these lights on and off, and of course I can do it from the app as well. It's already linked to my NS Panel Pro, which is sitting here. So if I yeah, it works, and the neutral is not connected. But then for the rest of the video, I did the, I'm doing the test where the neutral is connected, and it works again exactly the same. So you don't need any additional hardware. You just, if you have neutral, you hook it up. If you don't have neutral, you don't hook it up, and it works. So yeah, that's definitely a great function. No additional hardware required. We have seen this one of the earlier, and I probably have to remember it was one of the mini extremes. And I think it was a really nice feature, and people love it. And so far in the comments, I haven't received any comments on what scenario, like type of lights or type of loads it is not working. But again, this is designed for as a light switch, so probably it's not for high loads like fans and motors and pumps and stuff. But even these small status LED lights, which probably consume next to nothing, it works just fine. So there is no reason why it wouldn't work with either LED, incandescent, or fluorescent lights. I think we can pretty much sum up the unboxing with the fact that that's the switch, that's the box. In the box there are some screws for mounting, but other than that there is a user manual, and the only thing I want to highlight the user manual, it's the connection diagram, which is I'm going to show you a little bit later on as well, well, just in a sec. So you can see that you can connect the neutral wires that you see on the right, but if you don't connect the neutral wire, again, you don't have to. I can't tell which provides more stable operation, but I would probably say that if you happen to have a neutral wire, just hook it up. And now let me show you the wiring, and for that I'm just going to unplug it so the magic smoke doesn't escape from my hand. But the way it is connected at the moment, it also has this protector or shroud, whatever. And so you see that in these two wires I have the incoming mains from the plug that I use for testing. So this is just connected to the mains, and the live is the black wire, so that's connected to the live output. And then you can see that the neutral is not connected to switch, so the neutral here that comes from the supply goes to the lamps, to the two lamps, and only the return live goes into the switch. So to the switch, I already have L and L1 and the L2 connected, and the neutral is not. But then again, for the rest of the video, I just used a piece of wire and I will connect the neutral into this terminal block. So, to this Vego, and that's how the neutral would get connected. And that's it. Again, wiring is very easy. This is what you would like in a normal old home style switch box. The fixed neutral and the one or two or three neutrals that go to the lamps, and then nothing else. But again, if you have neutral, then you connect it here to the N terminal. So everything is clearly labeled, just like with any of the products that we have seen from Sonoff. Well, it's just upside down. Can I turn it up? Of course I can turn it around. And you can see that it says 10 amps per gang, which is pretty much typical from the switch products that we have seen from Sonoff. So, but that should be more than enough for, regular lights. And let me just quickly show you the website, so the new Sonoff.tech, where you can buy this. So this has European and US stores, warehouses, so the delivery time should be fairly quick. So you can see that from the sort of like the European version, there are two different versions, the Type 80 and the Type 86. So the back is going to be slightly different based on whether you have, the wall sockets is Type 80 or 86. But you can buy the 1 gang, 2 gang and the 3 gang version. Obviously my sample unit is a 3 gang version. But there is also a US version, so this is the vertical Type 120. I mean, at the moment, for me, everything is grayed out. So I'm not sure whether this is because I am detected that I am in Europe. So, why would I want to buy the US type of switch? Or it is not available or not in stock at the moment. And you can see that we can choose from color as well. So, well, there's no color here, but there is a color option there. So I can only assume that maybe in a couple of months' time, there would be more colors offered as well. So in order to set up this switch, I'm going to use my NS Panel Pro, and I have powered this up. And when I was powering it up, this LED was blinking, so meaning that it was in pairing mode. But because I haven't really done it in time, it stopped doing that. So let me just power cycle the unit, unplug it, and then plug it back. And then let's see what happens. And in the meantime, in here, I'm just going to go into add device and start pairing, and let's see what happens. So this one is not blinking yet, but it is working, so it's powered up. So I might need to just long press one of the buttons, because I think it wasn't really happy with the fact that I didn't start a pairing in time. So let me just push on this button. Yeah, now it's blinking. And then hopefully this device is going to, find it. So it didn't take long. And as you can see, it named it as switch. Oh, yep. Oh, now it's on. Okay, it's still trying to figure out how to, drive this, because there was a little bit of delay, and then I also got a message failed, but then it was switching it on. And if I show in the eWeLink app, let me just refresh the screen, because I think it's going to take some time. Yeah, at the Zigbee M5, so that's the Zigbee M5 AT60. It was able to determine all the type, and we have the two outputs, so we can switch on, gang 1 and gang 2, and that is working on the, in the app as well. And if I do this, for example, why is it? Oh yeah, I can just long press and I can do all the channels separately as well. Okay, now everything is working. And let's quickly go through what it can do in the eWeLink app. As I said, it's going to be very similar to the regular M5, because this is what we have seen with all the products where there was an existing Wi-Fi product and there was a Zigbee product, and they try to keep the same functionality in order to keep them, very, very similar. So we have the usual schedules, so you can create schedules of the two outputs, whether you want to keep it on and off. And we have a Chinese non-translated thing on the upright. App here, what is it? Please, I guess that would be the save button. And you can create multiple of these changes. You can also add the timer. So, you know, at the end of 30 minutes, I want this device to turn off. And then I can also create a loop timer. Again, unlikely that it's going to be something for this type of switches, but like, you know, cycle on and off. So it's great for fans or maybe something like that. And I also have a button to turn both of them on and to turn both of them off. Interesting, I think for the Wi-Fi version, it's like, it's almost instant how they turn on and off. But here for the Zigbee, there is a bit of a delay. Not sure why is that. I don't think that we can do too much about that. And that's basically just the main controls. If I go into the settings, then yeah, I can separate out the ties. So instead of having one tie for the two outputs, I can separate them out to two ties. And the wiring is now, it says that it's with neutral. And then I have a plugin version. Yeah, and I can link it to a room, share it as the usual sharing. I can also create a group. It looks like that I cannot group it with a Zigbee one together because I'm pretty sure that I have the Zigbee M5 in my account, but it's not really showing up here. So if you have multiple, you know, switches in the room, just make sure that you buy the Zigbee versions. So if you replace them, just replace them with either the Zigbee versions or the Wi-Fi versions if you want to use the grouping. Push notifications. So if I want to get extra notifications whenever it's getting turned on and off. And I also have a power on state. So what is the state? What should be the state of these when they get powered on? And detach relay. So I can separate the actual output from these buttons. Again, I think for the physicals or these type of physical switch, I'm not really sure why I would do that unless I want a very complicated logic to control the outputs. Like, let's say I push this button, but I want some scenes to be executed which also check some other conditions, and it only allows these to be turned on once those conditions are met. I think that's one possibility. For regular lights, I don't really see how this is going to be an option, but it is certainly possible. I can hide it all on off. I can enable the network indicator, which I would assume that would be one of the lights here. Again, I don't think that's going to be very useful in normal scenarios. And then that's pretty much it. So these are all the functions and the settings that you can do. And I think the use of it in scenes is going to be very basic. I mean, it's a switch. So if we look at the triggers, so smart device and this device, so I can create a trigger whenever any of these outputs are turned on or off. So I can specify it for channel 1 and channel 2. And if I change the trigger to tap to perform, then also on the smart device and the Zigbee M5, I can also turn these outputs either on and off, leave them, or reverse them. So if they was on, it turns off, and vice versa. So standard functions that we would expect with all the switches. Nothing really changed here, but to be honest, I didn't expect any changes anyway. So it's all good. It's working fine. And for the next test, I have deleted the Zigbee M5 from my eWeLink application. And as you can see, my iHost, the cable just reaches to be in the view, is now up and running. So we will try to get this on the iHost as well. To be honest, I haven't even checked that it's supported by the iHost, but I think it should. So let's add a new device and then start the setup. Oh, and I need to get this into pairing mode again because I waited too much. So I'm pressing the same button again, and now it is blinking. So it should be found fairly quickly. Let's see. Yep. Zigbee Mini. And yeah, one device found. So we can stop the searching and go home, and it's here. So we have an R, so this is a router type device, and yeah, we have channel 1 and channel 2, and you probably heard a click, but then the outputs are on as well. So I'm turning it on, channel 1 and channel 2. So yeah, it is working. We can control it the same way as from the main application, And we have the same functions as well. So we can create schedules just like on the other screen. I can control whether the schedule is, changing, channel 1 or the channel 2. So let's say this is going to turn on channel 2. And you can create many of these schedules, and then the same with the delay. So I can add a 30-minute delay. After that, it's going to do something. So this is like a one-time thing. And if I go into the settings, then I can rename the channels. Oh, by the way, I don't think I've gone to that screen in the eWeLink, but obviously you can rename the channels there as well. There is a version. You can change the switch time to be a different one. Oops, click too much. And change the location, add it to a scene, and yeah, that's it. View the records, and then, store the records, and that's it. So it has all the features. We don't have, did we had the power on state? So we don't have some of the things here, but yeah, the main functions is here. And I think if I go into, let me just check, not the matter one, but the scenes. And if I want to create a new scene, then if I, smart device, yep. And again, yeah, I can create a scene also in the iHost whenever either channel 1 or channel 2 gets turned on or off. And also if I want to say tap to run, I can also control these two outputs using scenes. So again, the functionality is exactly the same as with the eWeLink app. So I can turn it on and off, reverse it, or keep it as it is. So again, if I want to turn off channel 2 and leave channel 1 by the scene, this is how I was set up. So the functionality is there. It's it's doing all the things that you would accept, and it worked out of the box. Great stuff. So I'm happy. And finally, let's do Zigbee to MQTT as well. And again, I think I've done caveats before, and I'm doing the caveat now. Is I'm probably 6 months behind. Oh, okay. Oh no. Yeah. So I'm 6 months behind my Zigbee to MQTT, and unfortunately this is not supported. Yeah. So interesting. It did identify that it is this type, and it even had a picture for it, and it's working. Oh, okay. Yeah, you could hear it. It's working. So I'm pretty sure that if I would find the time and finally update my Zigbee to MQTT to 2 point something, because I'm still on 1.9 point, about 1.3.9. So I think that was one of the very recent version before 2.0. Then I wouldn't have this glitch that it gets discovered twice and it says it's unsupported, whereas, I mean, the main functions work. Maybe if I get support, I would have a few more functions, but the main thing, already works. I'm pretty sure that in the, in the most recent version, it's going to be, fabulous, and everything is going to be working fine. This is just another reminder for me to find the time and actually do the thing. So yeah, it works fine in Zigbee to MQTT as well. And this concludes my review of the Sonoff Zigbee M5. If you like this product, there is going to be purchasing links in the video description. But I think that should be all for today. Thanks for watching. Hopefully see you next one.